Hello, everyone. This is Kelly from Cheaper Than Therapy. Oh my goodness, humor is cheaper than therapy podcast. That'll be a good one to begin with. Let's try again.
What podcast are we doing?
Okay, we could edit that. Hello, everyone. This is Kelly, and we're human. Take 3.
Blah, 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 blah. Did you say cheaper than shit?
Oh my goodness. Hi, everyone.
I hope this is recording because this is pure gold, but I don't see it. Does everybody see lines on everybody else's?
I see it on mine.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
All right.
Hi, everyone.
Kelly.
Where's my clapboard? Take 4.
Well, we're 1 minute in already.
Hello, everybody. This is Kelly, and we are Humor is Cheaper Than Therapy podcast. I'm here with my mother, Terry, and my sisters, Shelly and Margot, and we're here to laugh and have a little fun and maybe talk about some serious stuff. And let's just enjoy a few minutes together and talk about some things that are happening in the world. Shell, you here? Say hello.
This is Shelly calling. I'm not calling. This is Shelly from Minnesota.
This is Margot from Montana.
This is Terry from Montana.
All right. And from what I
And
understand,
today we're
everybody
gonna
is
talk about.
from what I understand. Oh, so everybody needs to know we are social distancing. Shelly and I are both in Minnesota, but we are 110 miles apart. Mom and Margot are both in Montana, but they are 100 miles apart currently. And this is the way we have found to keep ourselves connected. I hope everyone else is finding a way to connect as well.
It's nice to be connected with family. And it's almost like when we used to sit in the living room all together years and years ago.
It has been a while, but that's good because we're all grown up.
So my thought was, what I was thinking
It
about
would
today
be a little
was,
weird if we all still live together.
oh, that could happen in this
Go, Mom.
climate of economics. Anyway, my thought was,
What's
How-
that, Mom?
who have we been connecting to because of this that we have been thinking about that we haven't connected to in a long time? Because we do tend to lose touch.
That's true.
Well, I know my daughters and I were on an app called House Party the other night, and we were talking about their Aunt Shelly and her daughter, and we thought, wouldn't it be fun to bring them into this? And sure enough, we got them here. And then we tried to get Mom, and then we just started laughing so hard, we forgot Margot.
What? You forgot about me? No.
No, we didn't forget about you. We just, we're just connecting.
Well, I gotta say that the more people got on, the harder it was to even maintain focus. I mean, I would say anything more than 4 is hard to control.
Yes. However,
But
Shelley,
it
was it not fun to watch my daughter and your daughter deal with children, and you drank your drink, I drank my drink, and we just smiled?
It was, I don't know if fun is the right word. I mean, it was interesting to watch them because we've been there, but at the same time, I wanted the attention. I wanted them to be
Right.
engaged, and they couldn't.
Chaos.
Complete
Yes.
chaos. Yes.
Yeah, but it was really fun to connect and see everybody's face, and I think that's something we should try to do more often.
I'm really planning on giving it a shot. I did hook up with Jackie the other day. I think it was by accident. I saw she was on there, and I just clicked on it, and well, there she was. And we had a little tiny
So-
chat.
So that raises a question for me. Now that I have the House Party app on my phone, it tells me when people are on. Does that mean I can just barge in to their conversation, or do they have to let me in? Does anybody know how that works?
You can just hit connect to them unless they can hit that it's a private, and you probably won't see them then.
Got it. Okay.
So private, would that be when they're house partying with their husband?
I hope not. So anyway, I think it just means they don't want anybody to jump in because they want to just stay in a conversation with whoever is in there.
Okay.
Right. So
Mother.
that's one way Shelly and I are keeping connected. And this is a way that Mom and Margot and Shelly and I are keeping connected. Margot, how are you doing with your boys?
Well, I work every day with Riker, so
Right.
I see him every day. And then Riley, we just stay connected usually through texting, and then we usually do a video call with him on Sunday nights, just depending upon what his work schedule is.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I suppose that's not really abnormal for you since he is a couple hundred miles away. You just don't have him coming home to visit.
Nope.
Well, that and he's on a military schedule, so I'm sure he doesn't have all the time in the world.
Well, you'd be surprised. He has a lot of downtime, which I find
Wow.
really,
I
really.
called him
really
the other night.
interesting.
I called him the other night and he was working and I said, "Oh, I'm sorry. I was very embarrassed because his people were there and it was his grandmother calling." And he said, "Oh, we're not doing nothing, Grandma." So we just
Oh.
talked.
No, because they've stopped pretty much all training. So unless a plane gets called out for an actual military maneuver, which if that happens, we all better get right with Jesus.
So what do you mean they stopped training, Margot? What are they doing if they're not, what are they doing?
Well, for him, he's part of the armament system of the planes that he works on, and so they would normally be doing training exercises to keep them up to speed on how to quickly load the bombs on the plane and all of that stuff. But now because of the restrictions for social distancing, they're not doing those
course.
close quarter trainings anymore. So he's now doing other things, some maintenance things, just really a lot of sitting.
That's too bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he's in good spirits. He sounds like he's in very good spirits.
Okay. Yeah, that was another question I had is, does anybody know what their children all our children are pretty much classified as millennials and used to being active and doing and going here and there and everywhere. And now for the most part are homebound.
I think the gaming industry is going bonkers.
I would agree.
I know for my son, that is the case. He and his friends have even thought, are trying to start a podcast. That'll be interesting.
Oh.
That won't be child friendly.
I'm guessing no.
No.
I think it will be funny, but family friendly, probably not.
I would really like to see Nathan do that. And I actually would like to see all of the cousins do that together. They might have a few things to say about us.
Let's not encourage that.
Okay.
Oh.
So one of the questions I have about the health thing that's going on right now, I have connected with some people, like my nieces and great nieces and things like that. I've been talking to them pretty regularly. But and I actually talked to Shelley. I talked to your grandkids just a minute on Snap. We snapped each other. But what is happening with all of the waste from the healthcare places? They're talking gazillion masks and gowns and what's going on with that? What do they do with it?
You're asking the wrong person. I have no idea. I'm sure they're just throwing it away. It's all going to a landfill. I mean, what else could it be doing?
Well, that
What
can't
else
be
could it
good. Isn't it contaminated?
Oh,
Well,
I did see. Go ahead, Cal.
Well, from what I understand, this virus doesn't live forever outside your body, but that's
It
a really
depends
good
on what it's
question.
on.
Sure.
Because on, I think, plastic and stuff, it can live up to 3 days.
Oh.
Yeah. It says here on the EPA.gov website for what happens with medical waste is 90% of it is incinerated. Nope, hold on. Finish reading the paragraph. 90% of infectious medical waste was incinerated before 1997. It doesn't really tell you what it does with it anymore.
Well, if it's considered biohazard, they have a protocol to follow, and I'm sure they're following that. A lot of plastic bags and things like that.
Oh my goodness.
Right.
Gotta
They're
be
talking
stored.
millions and millions.
Has to be stored somewhere.
Or maybe they are mass burning it. Who knows? Maybe they're burying it.
Yeah. I've had my own thoughts on dying recently. And yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure everybody's thought about it a little bit here and there.
So what? Another couple of words that I've heard a lot about during the virus time is intimidated and inspired, because those are two different things. But people are intimidated by and inspired by.
At the same time?
Well, I'm intimidated by going into a grocery store, and yet I'm inspired by someone who's willing to go to work every day.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. That makes sense.
Even though I don't know. I don't understand what's essential and non-essential these days.
Well, no, it's so ridiculous how they've closed down all the restaurants, but they didn't prove that this disease was spread by restaurants, but they left open grocery stores and hardware stores and banks and post offices. And then they did shut down the banks, but the post office is still open, the hardware stores, the liquor stores.
I didn't know the
How?
bank was shut down.
Well, you have to use drive-through only.
Right.
Wow.
But
So they're
what's
trying to
what
limit the contact. But go ahead, Margot.
But what's the difference about going into, Burger King and sitting there and having a meal as opposed to going into Walmart and shopping? And there hasn't been any restrictions or guidelines on that, except now just recently, some of the stores have started doing their own guidelines and doing their own restrictions. But this CDC or whoever makes the guidelines for shutting down, like Burger King, isn't doing
Right.
telling, the grocery store, hey, you need to do this to lessen the exposure of the grocery store people by whatever.
Right. I think that initially, when you think about restaurants and things like that, that is entertainment. You do not have to go there to live. You know what I mean? You do have to get groceries and cook your own food if you're not going to go to the restaurant. But I agree with you, Margot. It seems a little willy-nilly that there wasn't some guidelines set up right away. When they closed all the restaurants, okay, now in grocery stores, this is how you have to act. Only so many people, the social distancing, all of that. I don't understand it.
Yeah.
Well,
And like the hardware stores, our maintenance guys a month ago would go to the hardware store and be in and out of there in 20 minutes getting their parts that they need for whatever maintenance call they're on. This last week, they were sometimes in there for an hour just trying to check out because of the number of people who are at the hardware store.
Why are they there? What?
Because they're not at work.
that is an actual
Yeah.
problem that is being had.
Is it a honey-do thing?
It's
No,
honey
I'm
do
it's
this?
people are bored.
I'm bored,
Yeah.
so I'm going to go buy some stuff. Now, other problems that I am aware of are where parents have dropped off 4 or 5 teenagers at the local whatever store that's open and left them and gone and done whatever they needed to do and then came back an hour later and picked them up. So I know stores in our area that have had to limit the age of people who can be in the store, nobody under 16, and limit one cart, one person. It's not going to be the family coming in.
So this all brings up another question for me. And I think Kelly and I talked about this briefly, I think it was Kelly and I, we talked about the fact that a lot of these rules and stay-at-home things are mandated by the states rather than the federal government. And I kind of am caught in the middle on that. I think it separates the states a bit when you're trying to do your own thing. Doesn't make us united. Do you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense even?
It does. I understand what you're saying. But again, we have we have so many states and they're so different from, for instance, Montana to California, the density of the population. And, so it's difficult to do an overall, here are the rules. So I can understand why they haven't done that, but there should be federal, and then states can add as they need based on their density of their population and things like that.
Does that, if the federal government were to mandate general rules for all of us, would that become a police state?
I believe so, and I think you would have anarchy at that point. I think they are walking a fine line with people, and there are a lot of conspiracy theorists out there who, and anybody who goes on Facebook can see all the things, and they're trying to keep some modicum of stability for our country, and they're trying hard. I think one of the things about the stay-at-home order was try to keep people from rioting and things like that. And I don't know if they're going to keep that from happening if this continues to go on much longer.
Yeah, in the more populated areas, I think you're right.
Right, because people are bored.
I look out my window here, and all I see is the prairie. Right there, if they come rioting, that'll be a miracle because that's all I see is prairie. Right. I don't even see cows anymore. People aren't even putting their cows out to graze right now. Wow. I'm serious. I haven't seen one.
Wow.
It could be the season. I'm not a rancher. It could be the fact that they're birthing and all of that right now, but things I don't understand.
Shelley or Margot, you guys got any input on that? Sorry to be taking up the mic.
No, it's just we have to have faith that the people who are in charge are going to do what is in the best interest of the country. And if we all just have that faith, then I think we'll be able to weather the storm better. But yeah.
I agree with that. I don't know that everybody has that point of view, but I do. I think at least Minnesota, the governor is doing a fantastic job. I think social distancing is important. I think it is going to, spread or lessen the spread and make it, less. I mean, I think we're doing a pretty good job.
It seems to be working. It seems to be working. I know that personally I feel very safe where I'm at. I wish I could have everyone with me that in the family because it is a safe place.
Right.
Yeah.
I get that completely.
We have that family web page, Kelly. You've been alerted on there. It's your turn on the family webpage to put the states down that your extended family is in, because I put down the list of what I could think of where we all are spread out to. And I thought it would be cool to just continue on with that list and see how far it goes. And I said, Kelly, you're it.
I saw that when I was at work the other day.
And you said, thank you, Mom.
Yeah.
Nope.
I just forgot about it and hadn't even thought about it again.
Because you and Dave that's another branch of the family that extends. And you have sisters and things that are in other states as well from other people. And so I kind of go, this could go, I would love to see how far it could spread the states or the countries.
So you're talking, how far do you want me to go?
Well, okay, for instance, Dave has sisters that live somewhere else.
Okay.
You could start with your own cousins. If I haven't listed the state, you could put in something I've missed.
Okay.
And then you go with your husband, and then you can pass it on to Shelley, and Shelley can pass it on to Margot. I'm very interested to see how widespread our connections are.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool to see.
So, did you guys see that they're now testing tigers at the Bronx Zoo for COVID-19?
I did not.
Well, I
Isn't
heard
that curious?
One tiger tested positive, a couple of them actually.
Mm-hmm.
And then they went on to say, oh, but don't worry about your pets. You can't transmit it to your pets. And I'm looking at them like, we just gave it to some zoo animals. How can we not give it to our own pets,
I understood it was a one-way street. They couldn't give it to us. Didn't I? I think I sent that to my cat family.
Well, in my opinion, I think they're just trying to not cause panic.
Well, how do they know that we gave it to the tiger and the tiger didn't give it to them?
That's a
How
good
do they know
question.
that?
They said it, that there was a zookeeper that had it, apparently.
Well, they asked the tiger all of the pertinent questions about where they were and who they interacted with. And they were able to triangulate their moves to find out that they were not the ones who
And they
spread
weren't
it.
they didn't go with the monkeys, and so therefore because Chrissy mentioned this the other night. She said, I would go for a walk and there's 6 cats in 6 driveways. Hello, am I going to get it?
I don't know.
I think they just, it's all so new. If they have a clue, they're not
Yeah, I
letting
think-
us know.
They don't know.
Right. That's my personal thought, is they just don't know how it's spreading and why so fast and why it's not the same as Mars or SARS, which were both coronaviruses.
Mars. We're all going to isolate on Mars. Okay, enough serious stuff.
Yeah.
What are you
I
going to do
agree.
after the quarantine is over? You guys, what are you going to do after the quarantine is over?
I'm going to go hug everybody I can think of. I need hugs.
Right.
We had for work, we had, thankfully I'm still working. We're all working from home, and today it was somebody's birthday. So we had a virtual birthday party. I had balloons. I brought balloons to the party. So I don't know. But that was fun. It was just, just to recognize somebody. And I showed him a birthday card. I'm like, here's the card I would give you if we were there. So
Oh, that's so cool.
yeah, so we're doing that. And I don't know. Kelly, what are you going to do once all of this blows over?
Well, my daughter sent us ticket prices to Hawaii the other day, and they're dirt cheap right now.
Jingle bells. How fun.
She
There you go.
thought that would
Maybe
be our
we
next
should all
family
book.
vacation.
There you go.
Yeah, she was thinking that it
Right.
should be our next family vacation.
I agree. And we all can get in shape while we're isolated, because I ain't going to get in no swimsuit.
I'm not going to
Seriously, I have more ripples than that ocean has waves. I'm telling you.
Yeah, and quarantine isn't helping. But Brian and I are trying to walk more. We went for a walk when he got home from work today, a couple miles in.
He's still working. That's good.
Yeah, except I worry because he's
Right.
around people. He's trying to be careful, and now he's got a condition, so he's at risk.
Yes, I know we all worry about that. None of us wants to be the only one who survives this.
Right.
That's my big fear.
Okay. Well, that's
Take
serious.
Don't you think it's funny how we used to always say, have a good day, talk to you, have a good weekend, blah, blah, blah. Now all we say is stay safe.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah,
keep going.
it
The thought that goes through my head all the time is how way back in the day, if you guys are all under 45, you won't remember this. There was a show called Hill
That'd be
Street
me.
Blues. And when he sent the police officers out in the street, it was always everybody stay safe out there. I
Yep.
keep thinking of that.
Well, I'm over 45 and I never watched that show, so I have no idea what you're talking about. But I get the reference. Stay safe out there.
I can't
I'm
believe you
not
lived
over
in our house
45
and didn't
yet,
watch
so
that show.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, nope, didn't watch that show. So Marco, what are you guys doing at the office? Because, is everybody still coming in and normal?
Yes, everyone is still coming in. We have gone to a non-open door policy, so our front door is locked, and we're only allowing those appointments in that are necessary. Like today, I think the UPS guy came in, the mailman came in, and one tenant came in. Otherwise, everything is done over the phone, over email, or handled through our drop slot. And
That makes sense.
yep. And right now we're able to maintain, and surprisingly, at the end of the day, as you would think that a business that had like 90% of its business walking through the front door, by the end of the day, I would be bored to tears, but I'm not. It seems like we have been busier than we were
Well,
beforehand.
you're doing the job of a couple of people here. There's some of us that don't come in anymore. Jackie and Terry and Karen, and that makes a difference.
Yeah.
I would
So
I would say it's the same with my company too, because they laid off 30 to 35 people, or really they let them go. Now I've been busier than ever. I don't know why. I mean, I didn't take on their workload, but I think it's part of it is we're having to delay. I work for a Herman Miller dealer, and they're closed for 3 weeks. So we're having to push back orders, and we're supposed to keep placing orders, but everything's getting a way far out ship date, and we're having to postpone all the orders that would have been shipping during this 3-week time frame and installing and things like that. So I think that's more paperwork. It's just caused a lot of extra paperwork.
yeah, it just seems like it has not, the workload and the speed and the just everything, it has not lessened up at all. And
No, not
we'll just
at all.
yeah, and in the rental business, people are still paying their rent, which is a blessing.
Thank you,
And
Jesus. Our owners will be happy.
yeah. So, and we have implemented a policy at the very beginning of this that we would be working with tenants that are not able to, and coming up with a game plan for them to how to stay in their house yet still have to collect rent. And so, yeah, it's so far
Right.
so good, but we'll see, because this was only 1 month in. Now, next month, we don't know what's going to be happening next month. We'll just have to see. Right now, our governor has pushed out everything. It was to the 10th. Now he's just pushed it out to the 24th, all of the restrictions and things that he's put in place. So yeah, we'll just have to see.
Okay.
I don't know. Has
Right.
anyone heard of someone that they've known who has gotten on unemployment because of this and received benefit?
Not yet.
My neighbor said she's in the entertainment field and she's an independent contractor. Montana's unemployment, of course, is state. Most of it is, I think. And she said her friends who are in the business in New York, in the entertainment business, have gotten theirs. Now that's a different situation there, of course.
Yeah, I know of a couple people who have signed up for it here in Montana, but I haven't heard of anyone who's actually received any benefits yet.
Hopefully it comes soon.
Yeah.
I-
And I just pray for the people who their income is affected because of this, and think it's a very huge blessing that majority of the people in our family are still able to work and still have, steady income. However, some people it's been affected, but at least there's income coming in. which is a blessing.
Agreed. So when we think about that, who all is affected? I know mine was minimal. Just having my pay reduced, that's nothing. I'm still making a paycheck. And all 4 of my kids, their livelihood is still going. So, Kelly, I know Stephen was affected because he's in the restaurant industry. Is he still working?
He is not. As far as I haven't talked to him in a week, as far as I know, he actually left Butte and was down in Livingston with friends because to be alone up there where he didn't know anybody, because he's relatively new to the area, he just couldn't stay there.
Okay.
So
that's one. Stephen's affected. Okay.
As far as his pay, I don't know what's happening there. Nathan, the bank he works for, has taken them on a 2-day on, like half the employees work 2 days and then they stay home for 2 days and the other half work 2 days. So they don't have quite as many of them in the bank as normal. But they have put email on his phone and, he still has to be available. Christy is working from home completely. And Jackie's still working at home.
And Levi is still working. So that's good. So only Stephen is really affected.
At this point, yes. Again, I'm not sure how that's affected his pay or even if it has. I don't know.
Okay. And Margot, both your kids are still working.
Yep. And Jason is working from home.
Okay. So Mom, all your kids are still able to make a living. That's pretty incredible.
I wish they would all work from home and stay safe.
If only they could. Like, Dave, I'm sure would love to, and he's one dealing with bozos that come in because they're bored and want to buy a gun for their grandkids. Well, that's not a necessity.
No, certainly isn't.
Stay home. So he's dealing with that. Brian is pretty safe, I think. I know they have hired people to clean their forklifts every night and really give the whole area a scrub down, and he's doing his best to stay away from people.
What does he ship? What do they ship from there?
Well, that's what's funny. I would consider them non-essential, but I'm very grateful he's working. They ship right now. It's his main client, at least in his side of the warehouse, is windows. I just don't understand how windows are essential.
Well,
construction business is essential.
Yeah. If you lived here in Billings, Montana, and get the hailstorms that we get that come through here, it seems like every year, and just decimate our town.
Oh, sure.
I still have a boarded up window that has yet to be replaced. I know there's an apartment complex that I drive by every day to and from work that still has one side of it. All the windows are boarded up because they all broke.
Okay.
And that's an apartment building where tenants live.
Got it.
So,
I didn't get it. I wasn't thinking that way, and that is good to hear. Okay.
Yeah. So, it is essential to have operating windows, especially now that we're getting into, please,
Storm.
Lord above, getting into warmer weather, and not every apartment's going to have air conditioning,
Oh boy.
So,
oh boy.
yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And for Dave, the store he works for, they are essential because it's home and farm, regardless of, even though we need our food, our animals need it too, which is huge.
Right. We actually had to order dog food, you guys.
We were blessed.
Crazy.
When Cirrus was sick, we have a friend who gave us 5 bags of dog food. She will not starve.
Ah, good.
And I'm talking 30-pound or 40-pound bags.
Oh, that's good. So we're talking about houses because of broken windows. So I was going to tell you a little story. And Margot, you get your Google out. Get your Google on, girl.
Master.
I've got my Google ready.
In 1963, Albert Heineken created a beer bottle to build houses. Go.
Okay.
Because I really want one.
You want a home built out of beer bottles?
Can you imagine if they're green? Well, Heineken, isn't it green?
Yes.
Heineken is green. Yes. Okay, hold on. Alfred Heineken.
Albert, baby. Albert.
Albert.
I would also want to do our health coach minute. health coach.
Ah,
We can do that now.
yes.
I don't
And
know if that's appropriate.
it doesn't matter. It's our show, right?
We can
Yep.
do whatever we want.
It's all appropriate.
I love a health coach minute. We need that.
Health coach minute. All right. So I guess what I would say about our country's health and individual health is that this is a stressful time. This is a very stressful time. There's a lot of uncertainty, and we really don't know where this is going to go. I mean, if you think back to the Spanish flu in, what was it, 1918?
Yes.
This would just be considered wave 1, and wave 2 was way worse. So there's
cry.
just I know. So with all the uncertainty, I think it's just important for everybody to remember that they've got to keep, I don't know if centered is the right word, but when it comes to health, there's a lot more involved than, than like the food on your plate. We can be healthy, we can eat healthy, but we also have to have healthy relationships and a healthy career, and our physical health and exercise is important, as well as our spiritual health. So I think it's really important to find ways to be healthy mentally, in such a scary time. So I know that a lot of news stations and things like that are really kind of focusing on meditation and, finding ways to stay connected with people, which is really important. Being isolated is very hard. I thought it would be great working from home every day, but I'm finding it, social distancing is one thing. Isolating is a completely different thing.
Yes.
And for me personally, I've been a little bit depressed. So I've found that reaching out, like the video party we had the other night, was so rejuvenating for me spiritually, deep in my soul. So my word of wisdom would be to connect in any way that you can with family, friends, anybody, to keep your spiritual and mental, emotional health all in check. Does that help? Is
Good.
there any questions on that?
Good. No, I like that.
No, I think that's good advice. That's good advice. And wash your hands and don't touch your face.
Wash your hands, don't touch your face. And the last thing I think I would add is get outside, because yes, we have to be socially distant, but for goodness sakes, we're cooped up now. Even if it's just sitting out in your back patio, like Brian and I did tonight after we went for our walk. And we do encounter people, but we just cross the road and we stay on opposite sides of the road. We went outside and we turned on a little speaker, had a little music going, and sat in the sun. So I think getting outside is really critical. I mean, we're coming off of a long winter with vitamin D deficiencies. Everybody up here in the northern hemisphere is deficient. So get out there, get some sun, get some fresh air.
Sounds good. I try. I actually walk more now with my neighbor. We stay quite a ways apart, even though she and I are both quite isolated. I don't think anything could creep in to where we're at. And I also, it's a very interesting thing. I go for a walk with Chrissy, who's in South Carolina. She will call me when she's walking, and we will walk. She walks, I talk.
Is it a video chat or is it just on the phone?
Oh, no, I don't think she could video. She walks pretty fast.
So it's
Yes.
a phone call. That's bring a friend on your walk. I love that, Mom. That's fantastic.
Yeah,
Great
she
idea.
started doing that, and I really enjoy it. We get like
Yeah.
30 minutes together.
Nice.
Oh, how do you find stuff to talk about for 30 minutes?
Well, she sees things, Margot, like houses for sale that your dad and I want to buy so we can live there in the winter.
Oh.
Yeah. So I guess that's kind of cool because you can take somebody on a walk with you. I love this idea. And just talk about, what are you seeing? What do you see right now? Oh, I see.
She saw
dog over
those.
there,
She sees all those cats in the driveways that she thinks are going
Right.
to infect her. And sometimes we hear a little dog barking, and she talks to the dog, and the neighbor will say hey from wherever he's at. And yeah,
I like that.
I talked to her on her walk tonight, just before we started this, and
Yeah.
she said all the neighbors were out sitting in their driveways in the nice weather, chatting with each other
Mhm.
across the street or across the lawn.
Yep, Kelly, I don't know if you were still stepped away while we were talking about that, but getting outside is so key.
It is.
last year, Kelly, in January, on the 19th of January, do you know what you were doing? Because I do.
I have
I don't know if I
no
want to
idea.
know the answer to this.
You were sitting outside in the sunshine on your deck in your bare feet.
She must
And
have got
I
a
was
snap
on
story.
and I was in my bare feet. And we took pictures of each other's feet. Or actually, that's not how it went. You took pictures of your feet. I took pictures of my feet. And I said, we should paint our toes.
You shared feet pictures.
You paint my toes, I'll paint your toes, I said.
I love
Is that how that somehow didn't there get to be a foot comparison thing going on with our children after that or something?
Oh, I don't know about that, but I did paint your toes.
How did you do that?
I paint for a living.
She printed the picture or whatever, or drew them and painted them.
Oh, gotcha.
So we're talking about needing to get outside, and I'm sorry if I upset anyone by saying this, but have you guys heard about this howling for our essential doctors and nurses and things?
We do
They
have that
started
going
this-
on, yes.
The
You mean
Facebook
like-
page in Billings is called Howling for Billings, and every night at 8:00 we're all supposed to go outside our house and howl at the moon so that
Oh,
all of Billings will know that we support our essential healthcare workers.
well,
I
Margot. Yeah, I bet you do. That would be the Montana version, which is really, I'm sorry, a little hillbilly out there. In New York, what they're doing is they're coming out on their apartment decks, which, I've got video of Josh doing this. And
Josh sent me that. It's awesome.
yes, they're whistling and they're clapping and they're, just cheering. They're not howling at the moon. That's very Montana. I'm sorry. You live there.
Yeah. Yep. Pop said he didn't even hear it last night. I called him and warned him because it was on my page, and I said, "Honey, you better be ready. I think they're going to start yelling in 10 minutes." And he never heard a word.
To be honest, even though howling is kind of weird, it's still, supporting the healthcare industry, the healthcare workers, everybody that's going in there and risking their lives every day. So, I mean,
Yes,
it's pretty cool. It's pretty darn cool.
it is. And I wanted to call Riker, and I will call him tonight and ask him if he is going to howl, because you guys, Riker can howl. You have no idea. If you've never heard him growl,
Really?
Oh,
unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
yeah, it's a talent. It's a talent.
I want to
Yeah,
hear this.
he can make some noise. Yeah.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes, he can.
He
I have
actually-
his CD.
he
I've
took
listened
classes.
to it.
Oh, that's right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Howling classes?
Actually,
Well,
it's
not
what is it
necessarily
called, Margot?
howling classes, but how to
What
make his voice sound the way it does when he sings.
For those
For
those
well,
bands,
Jason
what was that called?
Jason calls it Cookie Monster on crack.
For those bands that did that crazy growling
Is it
thing.
growling? What is it?
Oh, what genre?
Google. I call that screaming metal, but I don't know what.
Well,
Yeah,
there's a
screamo.
term.
Screamo, yes.
Yeah.
What,
Screamo.
Margot? Screamo.
Yeah.
Sounds
So-
painful.
I don't know.
You
I know I'm
you
gonna
never
upset
saw
a lot of
anything
people
like it.
because I've had several people invite me to this Howling for Billings Facebook page, and I'm just like, nope, not doing that.
Yeah,
I
I
can't
think
see
I
you howling for
can't.
Billings.
No. But we could send Riker out on the rims, and if he did his screamo, they'd hear him. Yeah. Anyway, Margot, did you ever look up?
Everyone would hear him. Yeah.
Did you look up
and
Albert?
he's down.
Right in the center of it. He's right in the center where
Yes,
they do it.
I did look up Albert. Well, no, it's not Albert. It's Alfred.
Okay. I'm
Heineken.
sorry. Darn it.
It's Alfred.
Wrong again.
And yeah, well, that I know, right? That's why you have me.
Yes.
The Google
correct you.
Master.
Go.
So it's believed that the first bottle house was built in 1902 by William F. Peck in Tonopah, Nevada.
Oh, yeah.
Tonopah. It was built by using 10,000 bottles of S. Hoister's stomach blisters solution, which consisted of various herbs in a 47% alcohol solution.
Hallelujah.
But the first bottle house was demolished in 1980.
Oh.
Then another one was built in 1905. And then Knott's Berry Farm in Buena Park, California, has a house bottle that's made from over 30,000 whiskey bottles. But then there's some more bottle houses. But the Heineken WOBO World Bottle I don't know how they came up with that acronym, but they did. While Mr. Heineken was touring his factories in 1960, he had an epiphany while he was on the Caribbean island of Curacao. Yep.
We need a linguist, Kelly.
You know
Yeah,
what?
no kidding. What?
Yeah, hooked on phonics never worked for me. So this is where he was walking along the beach and he saw the beach littered with bottles. And the island had no economic means for returning the bottles to the bottling plants where they had come from. And so he considered, with the lack of affordable building materials in the Caribbean islands, because the living conditions were so inadequate because of the lower class and the lower economic standings, he envisioned a solution for the problem. So he asked his Dutch architect Houbraken to design what he called a brick that holds beer. And so the Blocko beer bottle was developed in 1959. And then over the next 3 years, the Heineken WOBO went through a design process. Some of the early designs were of interlocking and self-aligning bottles, and all designs were rejected by Mr. Heineken based on aesthetic preferences. And in the end, the bottle that was selected was comprised between most of the previous designs meshed together. So the bottle was designed to be interlocking if laid horizontally and then bound with cement. The neck was short and fitted into a large recessed base, and the bottles were square sections with dimples.
Ooh.
And a 10-foot stack would take approximately 1,000 bottles to build.
Wow.
Wow is right.
Yeah. Only 2 WOBO structures exist. They are near Amsterdam. The first is a shed and a garage.
Wow.
So
Interesting. Do you think that would be okay? If you had that like in Minnesota, would it be warm inside? Would it be insulated?
that's what they say, that it's supposed to be a great construction material.
Somehow I feel like unless you put foam in the bottles, they'd be cracking all over in our winters.
Well, it says here because let's see, because air gets trapped inside the empty bottle, it creates its own installation.
Oh.
Okay, but
And
in the winter here, like my tires, I have to fill them with air because it's too cold outside and the air has collapsed. And I guess though they don't refill with air when it warms up, which I've never understood.
The air expands, and it retracts and expands with temperature.
Right. So why don't my tires just magically refill and after it gets warm? I'd really like to know the science behind that.
There, Google.
Yeah. Yeah.
Google it.
why do my tires
Google Master, go.
air in the winter? The main reason for this is the dropping temperatures, which cause the air to become denser and subsequently lowering the tire pressure. Of
Oh.
course, tires naturally lose their pressure over time, or there can be a puncture causing a dramatic loss of pressure. Colder temperature will cause the tire pressure to drop about 1 psi for every 10% drop in air temperature.
Oh, that's
So-
like a lot then.
So
why don't
that
we
explains a
expand
whole
then?
lot.
Right.
Well, I want to say something. So I know some dense people. So in the winter, they get denser
Oh.
because they're airheads and the air goes out. I got it.
Wow, Mom. Wow. Wow.
There you go.
Where
Mhm.
the hell does this stuff come from? I don't know.
Oh, my Lanta.
Oh, that's fabulous.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, are we getting close to being done? I'm just curious. I'm
She's
just
like-
curious. Well, I just
she's
have
like,
some
please.
closing. No, I have some closing thoughts. So I'm
Okay.
waiting
Okay.
that are
Oh.
because I'm denser in the winter. I don't know. Anyway.
It's ultimately your show, Mom. So
Pretty much. She can do whatever she wants.
Pretty
Yeah.
much.
Okay. This is going to be my legacy. I have a word, or not a word. It's actually 2 words. You might want to write them down. that we'll talk about next time.
Ooh.
It has nothing to do with beer bottle houses.
Mom, 1 second. We're not in school anymore. You don't have to homeschool us.
Okay.
Right? Yeah.
Okay. Had to say it.
Emotionally, I heard this somewhere during. Gosh, I'm in isolation for too long. Emotionally incontinent.
No, that can't be right.
Emotionally incontinent? Well, that would
That's-
mean that you're spewing emotions all the time, right?
That's for next
Well,
time.
I don't. Yeah, this is
She's saying-
something we need to use in
Okay.
a sentence. I saw those
Yeah.
2 words and I went, "What?"
Okay.
Okay. And those are the 2 words?
Yes.
Okay.
And they
Use-
were
use-
used together, emotionally incontinent. They were used
Yes.
together.
Yes, it was used together. But good Lord. I
So do
can't
you want us
remember
to come up
where.
with our own terms of what we think it is? And then I will then at that point then Google it and we'll find out what it really means?
Whatever you guys want to do. I just thought it was the weirdest thing, emotionally
It
incontinent.
is weird. It is weird. Okay. That's going to be our topic for next time. That's going to
Emotional
started.
incontinence, kids.
that's going to get us started.
I was also
Well-
thinking isn't it time we start asking our viewers for topics that they would like us to discuss and research?
Oh,
That
good
would be
Lord. I
great.
hope nobody's
But we
watching
need-
us.
Isn't it
Ew.
interesting? I have never lived through anything like this in all these years. It's just making me crazy, all this. When I think about
Well-
the
Yeah.
whole world, global.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's like I said when we all left last week was I said, now Sir Isaac Newton, way back when
Yeah.
they had the Black
Mhm.
Plague, they shut down everything and he went home and he came up with his theory of relativity and all that crap. So what did you come up with?
Not crap, first of
Emotional incontinence.
all.
That she came up with emotional incontinence.
Well,
she got it from
you know,
someone
that's
else.
similar to Sir Isaac Newton's crap, I guess.
I think so. Yep. Oh, my land.
Oof,
Well,
dang.
so our homework for next week is come up with something pretty amazing.
Yes,
Yeah?
for emotional
No?
incontinence.
And everyone,
Lord.
let's think more independently than isolationist. Let's think about being independent.
What do you
I
mean
have a
by
note.
that? Nope. I got to understand what she means.
Independence is a different attitude than being isolated or quarantined.
True. Yep.
Well, it's like you see that meme that goes around. You're not being isolated at home, you are safe at home.
Yes.
Yes.
Right. Independent, though, means self sufficient. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, you're right.
I'm growing celery from my cutoffs. So there you go. I'm self-sufficient.
Well, good luck because I've never gotten that to go very far.
Oh, I'm growing
How-
some as
how-
well.
Yeah. How tall is
I'll-
it? Do you actually make new celery and use it?
Well, I haven't yet because it's only been growing
Okay.
since I want to
2
say
o'clock.
last last weekend.
Okay.
All right.
I
Well,
think.
post some pictures because I want to
I-
see you make it into new celery because I've gotten it to grow and grow and grow, but it never becomes celery.
It just
Not
becomes
celery that
leaves,
you can
right?
use.
You can
Right.
use the
Well,
leaves.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
the leaves.
I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, but not an actual celery stalk.
I want it to be celery. Doggone it.
Takes a
Well,
lot
have
of
you?
water.
Yeah, have you after you've gotten it to grow substantial leaves? Have you ever planted it in a pot?
Yeah. No, I have not. Nope.
No.
No.
Okay.
Nope.
You said, yeah, no.
Who
She
did?
did. You did.
I did.
You did. You
I
said,
didn't
yeah, no,
play
I
back
did not.
that audio. Yeah. Well, like Christy said, yes, I've tried that. No, it has not. See, it's got dual purposes, Mom. Sorry.
Oh, on that note, guys, this is not what I want to end on, but on that note, I found one that it really drives me nuts. You know what I'm saying? No, I don't speak your language, right?
Well, so the term, you know what I'm saying, bugs you. So does it also bug you when people say, "Are you picking up what I'm putting down?"
No, because that's just funny.
Then that means the same thing.
Well, I
I've
know.
never heard that. That
You
sounds like
haven't?
gangsta talk.
Well, Mom, I am the gangster in the family, don't you know?
We need to have Mom say it with her gangster accent.
Gangsta.
You know what I'm putting down.
I know what you're putting down, Mom. I know I
ridiculous.
listened to a little Eminem today. How about you guys?
Not recently, but it is in my YouTube playlist. Not joking.
I have a song I'll share with you guys.
Yeah, there's a video Dave and I actually do enjoy. Actually, two of them that have M&M in them. Don't tell
I
my
eat
children.
M&Ms.
I eat M&Ms. I won't tell them.
I have a whole bag in the cupboard. It's not a.
I
It's
do
not
not
a
have
big
any.
bag. It's not a big bag, and I'm kind of look at it every day, but I
I have
haven't
no
Don't
eaten
open it,
it.
it'll be fine.
I have no chocolate in my house.
You don't like
I have
chocolate.
Lara bars.
I
with
got a
chocolate in
few
'em.
Lara bars. Yeah. hmm
Yeah.
So my husband listened to our last podcast,
Mm-hmm.
and he
That would have
says
been the pet peeves one.
the pet peeves one.
Okay.
Yep. And he said he was really enjoying it, and he also thanked me for not basically throwing him under the bus for all of the things that he does that might annoy me.
There aren't any. Did you tell him? There are none.
I said, no, hun, I'm not going to call you out on a podcast about all the things that annoy me about you. And he thanked me for that. But he also said, you can go ahead. So just if we ever revisit the pet peeves thing, I have my husband's permission to lay it all out.
To peeve away.
Nice.
Peeve away.
Peeve up one side and down the other. I love it.
Okay,
My
speaking of
husband-
husbands listening to podcasts, my husband hasn't listened to a single one.
Mine loves
Really?
every one of them.
My
Go
husband
get him,
has-
girls.
Nope. He listened to the first one the test one with me. Not a single one after that.
But he did listen to you guys. I re-edited number 1, the story that I told at the end about the chickens and the eggs.
was
Yes,
the
I did
best.
get him to
I-
listen to that. He giggled a bit, whatever. I think to him it was like 4 chickens cackling or something.
I bet it was. Whatever.
David, I love you. Good. I'm glad he listened to the story because it was funny.
Nathan, I told Nathan he had to listen. And his thing was, Mom, the first podcast you shared with me, there were so many spaces
Long
of nobody
pause.
talking.
Yeah.
And I said, nope,
Yeah.
we figured that out, Nathan. We figured that
Yep,
out.
all
So,
fixed.
yep.
All fixed.
And those kids of yours do not get to criticize unless they're going to help us fix those problems.
That's absolutely freaking right. So, anyway,
no,
Nathan's
no. We don't need them. We got this.
Okay.
Sorry.
true story. Actually, I'm trying to help Nathan do what he's trying to do. Yeah. So, the one thing I want to end
he
this.
emailed me. Sorry, I
Kelly,
just want to
what-
say he
Nope,
emailed
go
me
ahead.
right now. He's asking for what equipment we're using.
I have a Snapchat from Nathan as well right now. What? Don't they know we're busy?
They do.
Oh my gosh, I'm so happy I did fix the notification sounds on my computer. So I see the notification.
don't
come
hear
up, but I don't hear the ding.
I don't hear
Yay.
the ding either. That's good. Ding, ding. What were you going to end this with, Kelly?
Well,
Ding ding.
ding ding. The one thing I wanted to point
Ding,
out,
ding.
we're all talking about how we're trying to keep things together and how the world is and how we're trying to keep in communication. I don't know if anybody follows the ACM awards, but I saw that they couldn't do them because of social distancing. So what they did was a 2.5-hour special hosted by Gail King and country artists from their homes sang their songs. You can watch it on cbs.com. I highly recommend it. It was really awesome and it was fun. And the messages they had, to me, it was like these celebrities out here are just as lost as the rest of us. And we all think they've got everything under control. No, they don't. They really don't. And then the second one, we watched Bon Appetit on YouTube. And they did a similar thing. They've done actually 2 or 3 episodes now where which is Bon Appetit is based in New York. They've all either bunkered up in their apartments or gotten the heck out of Dodge to their parents or wherever. But yet they're trying to still do their shows from their home kitchens. And it's very cool and interesting to watch. So
Okay.
things to think about on how not just the everyday person is handling this, but the people that are considered celebrities are handling it as well. And I'd like to have
Yeah,
that
I'm
actually
just
added into the podcast somehow, because I think that's information people need to have
yeah.
so they can
I
look.
I still am overwhelmed by the enormity of this. The worldwide enormity of this just floors me.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
too.
And to me it's important for people to know it might not be country music, it might not be the food world, but the people they are interested in may be doing something similar, especially with YouTube and all these other ways to communicate. And I'd like people to look for those things if it helps them to be comfortable and calm and gives them a little joy. That's the reason I wanted to talk about those two things. Margot, I don't think we'll be able to watch a football game from each of the players' homes.
That probably isn't going to happen.
Oh, that would be interesting. That would
Wouldn't
be
it?
very interesting. Yeah. Because you
Ah.
see those compilation of videos where someone's doing something in their home and then they like throw something off screen and then the next person in the video catches it and then they do something and then they throw it. You know what I'm talking about? You see, do you
I
hear what I'm putting down?
do.
I
I'm
hear
picking
what
up
you're
what
putting
you're
down,
putting
and
down.
Down, sister.
we could actually do a video of that similar thing for our YouTube. I could throw something at you.
Oh, and we could catch it.
We could catch it.
I've got a
that's
cool
the
stand.
best.
I have a cool stand for my phone now, so you won't have to look up my nose. I can actually fix it so
Oh,
you could.
did you get it, Cal?
I did. It's pretty freaking awesome. I can set my camera on my
Oh,
phone like out on my deck and do time lapse and
Yay.
Yay. Came
Yay.
today.
Oh, well, you'll have to send me that. I want to see what that is.
Well, and the reason that came about was because during house party the other night, because it's a video call, there were times where I'd set my phone down to go type on my computer for some information or whatever reason. And they're all like, we're
And
looking up
all
your
we
nose
could
right now.
see was upper nose. That was it, man.
What was up there?
I don't want to talk about it.
They could see the sunlight coming in through my ears, Mom.
That's because it's winter and the air.
What? The air. There's deflation going on.
Did my mother just call me an airhead?
She did. Oh, it was perfect. Oh, it was perfect.
Oh,
And she said she can't tell a joke.
Oh, she did. She said she can't tell jokes, and she's the joke master as of right now. That was perfect. Oh my gosh.
That was a ba-dum-bum.
and I know,
Ba-dum-bum.
you know what? We do much better laughing when we're not scripted, when we just sit
Yes.
here and bullshit.
Oh, yeah,
Exactly.
we just got to get there. Yep.
Yep.
Oh, there's our first swear word. Now we have to put a header before this episode.
No, she will edit
Who
that.
said a swear? Who?
Mom just said bullshit.
Your mother.
Missed it. Oh,
Oh,
sugar
there-
biscuits. Mom.
I know it.
I know.
I'm old. I can do that.
You get to say anything you want now. I can't
I
wait to be able to say
know.
anything I want.
I know it's awesome. And when I have a funeral, because we're going to have one when I die, you guys can
okay.
talk about me. You guys can tell all the dumb
Well,
stories.
We're not going to wait till you're dead.
Oh,
No,
good
we're gonna
Lord,
start
no.
right now.
Let's.
Right.
All right. Where's my notepad? Let's start this.
Oh, I'm sure you've got it going. Ah.
In the Dropbox, there is a spreadsheet.
Oh,
Feel free to add a tab. Stories
add
about
a
Mom.
tab.
and you know, I don't even know what the hell a Dropbox is, so forget it.
Good. Then our secret is safe.
Yep.
She can't
Yep.
access it.
Nope, I can't.
Oh, goodness.
Ah,
Except Jackie can
Nowhere
now.
on here.
Don't.
she won't let us. She won't. No.
No. She'll put stories about her mom on there.
I'll make a copy.
We have to change whatever
before-
we call the tab. Not stories about Mom. Stories about Kelly,
Call
Shelley,
it
and Margot's mom.
No, financials. Call it financials.
There you go. Then she
Okay.
won't look.
That's how you hide stuff. Y'all ever look
Yeah.
on my computer and you see a folder called financials? Run.
It's full of porn.
Okay.
Maybe. Maybe not.
Maybe not.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm the innocent one.
What's this porn you
What?
speak of? I don't know what that is.
Did you say NORP? What? I don't understand.
Never heard of that kind of thing.
I don't understand. Does that stand for something? Next podcast topic. What does PORN stand for?
That's
Oh,
our new
Google Master.
acronym.
I'm
for
not-
something.
I am not Googling
No.
that. Someone else can Google that one.
I'm good. Oh my gosh.
Okay.
What are you all wearing during this podcast?
Clothes?
Wow.
What are you
Well-
wearing? Are you wearing your office clothes or your jammies?
I'm wearing my work at home office clothes, which is my yoga pants and a tank top. And yeah, it's cute.
Oh,
Look at your snaps. You'll see it.
I'm
Yeah.
in
I
my-
dress up and I do my hair and makeup every day because I'm going to be on video conference calls all the time. So I'm going to work every day.
oh.
Yeah. I am still going to work, so I'm
Work presentable.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So she can talk
Yeah.
to people through the little drop slot in front of the office.
So I've got my makeup done so they see my eyeballs.
There you go.
I am in what I put on
Yeah.
when I come home from work and take my work clothes off and put on my home clothes, and it's
Yep,
a
I have
t-shirt
to-
and it's
Are you-
yoga
do you-
pants.
I
Do you have like a
deliberately have
whole
to-
like Mr. Rogers routine that you do?
No, that's at work.
I want to
'Cause I've
hear
got-
that song. Oh,
What? I don't know that
So-
song.
Actually, when I come home, I do the "We let the girls out." Woo, woo, woo.
Kelly, you guys, I just made a note to ask for next time. Does anybody take off their bra after work? Because I don't. And I know people at my work that do, and I don't understand it.
I took mine off on March 16th.
Oh, no. Mine stays on until bedtime, and sometimes I forget to take it off then.
Oh, I hate if that
Yeah.
happens. Oh,
yeah. Bedtime. Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Oh.
yeah.
Otherwise, yeah. See,
Yeah.
we like to keep ours reined in.
here's
You-
the thing.
Well,
You have to keep them corralled. Yes.
Corralled,
we
yes.
were we were watching it. What show was it? Was it that stupid Tiger King? And he said the term free balling. And I told my husband there'll be no free balling. So I guess
my
then
gosh.
then I think the sisters have to stay in too. I don't know.
Are you all watching that?
I'm done.
Hey, I would like it to be known that I listened to the podcast before this whole thing. So I knew all about this craziness before it became a Netflix show. And now I am almost done with the Netflix show, but I am still shocked and amazed. And I've heard it all already.
I
Incredible.
am dumbfounded.
I'm struggling to get through it. I think Brian is done with the second episode, and I'm just like, wow, are we really watching this? I
It's-
don't
Your
understand
dad
what-
could not watch it past the first episode.
Neither could
can't-
Dave.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
I'm with
the
Dad and
podcast
Dave, I
is
guess.
not as explicit as Netflix is.
I just don't get
so-
why it's a story. I don't know.
Why
Oh.
isn't it a story?
See, she doesn't know all the
I
ins
guess
and
I
outs, Margo.
haven't seen it.
She doesn't
haven't
know
heard
about the
enough yet,
murder and the
apparently.
intrigue and the politics and the suicide and
And the arm getting ripped off, and
Well, she knows
That I
about the arm
saw.
getting ripped off. That
I
she
saw
knew.
the arm part. Was that episode 1 or 2?
That was,
I
I believe,
two,
might
I
have seen-
think.
might have been 2.
Oh,
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, I got to that part and I was like, okay, that's interesting. And that girl's back at work. And then all of a sudden, I was in the kitchen cooking and Brian's watching. And I'm like, all of a sudden, this other dude that I thought was a pretty nice dude, the guy that rides the elephant, I'm like, he has how many wives? and they get boob jobs, I'm going upstairs. I don't understand this.
Dude.
Yeah, so I went upstairs and I made a birthday card instead.
Oh, does somebody have a
okay.
birthday coming up?
Next, well, a friend at work had one today. Otherwise, April. I don't think so.
No.
Yeah, no.
Mm-mm. No birthdays in April.
Okay, here just on to end the night.
I'm a-
Fun fact. So you guys all know my friends, and they're gonna have a baby.
What?
And you didn't
I
know
didn't
that?
know that.
No way.
No. Ah, I'm freaking out.
Neither did I,
When?
and I don't know who these people are. Oh my gosh! Oh!
When?
Okay.
Woo! We weren't invited to
Well-
the copulation. Oh, that's compilation. Oh,
So
When?
the fun. Hang on, Shell. Let me give you the fun fact. So I'm on Facebook the other night,
Zooks, I can't.
and I knew they were due in April. And she is a nurse and she is not allowed to go to work. So somebody
No.
asked her when she was due because they did some beautiful maternity pictures on Facebook. And she said, I'm having a C-section on April 17th. And I went, yes! Told her it was a good day when
Why?
they announced it to us.
what's the big deal about
Aw.
that day?
It's a good day.
When did they tell you, Cal?
So they came to our
Oh.
home last October and said, Dave and I had been sick. Nope, we've got a gift we brought you from New York. So they come and they've got these lottery tickets. I still have them on my bullets board. And they're like, everybody we know has won from these. We want you guys to scratch them right now. Scratched them. We're expecting. It was so sweet.
Aw.
So awesome.
That makes me want to gag a little.
Margot.
Okay.
Only Margot. Because, they're both in their 40s.
Oh, that's
So,
yeah.
yeah.
Maybe that's why. There must be a reason that they need to do a. I hope
Well,
she
Yeah, I
goes
don't
there was a
naturally
couple-
before that.
One of Jason's coworkers, they planned their C-section to coincide with their insurance deductible because the cutoff date. Yeah,
Did it
Yeah.
work out?
they wanted. Yeah, they went in and the doctors yanked the kid out so that they would meet their deductible for the year.
All right.
Right?
Whatever.
Yeah.
I think that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Okay.
birthing will be another podcast.
Right?
All right.
Oh, we got stories
Oh,
about
boy,
birthing.
we've got 10 stories. 10
10.
minimum.
We do have 10 birthday
Actually,
stories.
there's
You know,
more than
I mean,
that.
if we add moms, we've got 13.
Let's add another one who had an 11 and a half pound
Kids?
baby.
She's going to have to be on as a guest if that's the case.
This
Oh,
is
how are
true.
we going to do that? That's going to be fun.
Easy.
We can have any guest we want, and we need to start doing that.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So,
So we'll talk
Fun
business about
stuff.
that, how we'll all contribute to an account for that.
I'd rather pay for all of this than have to contribute funny stories.
Oh, buying our love, are you?
Yep. Yep.
I'll take it.
Spending your inheritance.
Well, we told
Thank
you to do
goodness.
that.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, spend it.
I'm executor. I don't want to have to deal with that. Spend it. Get rid of it.
Yeah, you can't take it with you. Spend it.
Have fun.
Enjoy. That's what I say.